Three hoes and a Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Merry Kwanzaa, Happy Holidays to everyone out there. Thank you so much for tuning in and listening to Observation Conversations. My name is Reid.
And I'm Jonathan.
And welcome to our very special Christmas episode.
We're back, bitches. We told you we'd be back. We told you we'd be back before the end of the year, and we're getting in just under the wire.
I lived, bitch. Yeah, so just the other day we were talking and we were kind of reliving some of our Christmas memories, and we thought, hey, this would make a good episode of the podcast and kind of share these memories with you, because I think for both of us the holidays are a very special time.
Absolutely. So we've got a cornucopia, a plethora of Christmas-related things to discuss today. But yes, to your point, Reid, we wanted to start by just taking a trip down memory lane, enjoying those sweet, sweet member berries by recalling some favorite Christmas memories, some favorite Christmas traditions, and just all around kind of rolling around in the nostalgia of this holiday. Well, so and let's start with this question, because I'm curious about this.
Mm-hmm.
Would you call Christmas your favorite holiday?
Oh, absolutely.
On the calendar?
Without a doubt.
Yeah.
More, I like it more than my birthday, to be 100%
Oh, wow, okay.
candid. Yeah. I think just because it's such a long holiday, like it lasts all of December, basically.
Pretty much, yeah.
I mean, it's an entire, it's the holiday season. It's kind of this uplifting mood that you experience throughout. I think that changes a little bit when you're in college, because you're more concerned with finals.
True.
And so you don't really get into the Christmas spirit until like
but it's still
December
everywhere.
20th, 21st.
But it's still everywhere. It's culturally ubiquitous, yeah. And not just December, but also at least half of November, if we're being honest. So it's a solid
depending on how early
or
you
6
decide
weeks,
to start.
I should say. Yeah, 6 weeks.
Personally, I like to give Thanksgiving the space it deserves.
Oh yeah, and I'm the same way. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't start celebrating Christmas until December 1st.
Yeah.
I specifically held off on my Christmas music playlist until it started feeling really cold, and then it started warming up again, which was really weird. And just as a separate note, I was discussing with my family not long ago that like there's a good chance we're not gonna get a white Christmas again, like ever, because the past few years we've seen less and less snow. But Existential Dread is for January 1st.
Yes.
So we're gonna put that off. But yeah, Christmas has always been my favorite holiday. I every single year we kind of have this tradition of the three of us, me, my sister, and my brother. We'll all kind of wake up first, and then we're like waiting for our parents to wake up and get out of bed. And ever since we were kids, like the three of us would crowd around at the top of the stairs, and our parents would go down first, and like they'd make their coffee and then make us wait. And then my dad would eventually like pull out the camera, and then he's like, okay, now you guys can come down the stairs. So we'd be like sitting at the top, and what I would do is I would like have the edge of my feet like on the top step, and I'd like hang my body down the stairs to see as far into the living room as I could. It was actually really dangerous. I'm surprised I never like fell and just busted my face on every step down the way. But yeah, it's those memories come back to me every season. So yes, without a doubt, Christmas is my favorite holiday.
Yeah, and my answer is the same, actually, and that actually kind of surprises me as much as anything, because there are several holidays that I do really enjoy and I do really look forward to on the calendar. July 4th is a fun one. Anyone who knows me knows
you do love your July 4th. Yeah.
I'm a sucker for fireworks. I love any firework holidays, so July 4th and New Year's, those are big for me. Yeah, obviously your birthday's pretty cool. It's cool getting older, but I wouldn't say that's one of my favorites necessarily.
I think for me, birthdays are like, because the entire day is about you. Yeah. And as someone who's always been like a little bit introverted, I think it can be kind of exhausting.
Oh, it is. Yeah,
to have a bunch of attention.
It definitely can.
Whereas Christmas or any other holiday, it's like everyone's celebrating.
Yeah, everyone's in on it. Exactly. Yeah, no, I'm the same way. I'm majorly introverted, as anyone who knows me knows. So yeah,
Which is why we're publishing our thoughts on the internet.
Exactly. Exactly, because this still beats actually talking with anyone else face to face. But yeah, as you said, I mean, it can be exhausting if you do even have the luxury of having all the attention on you for a day. It's either that, or it's like you're the only one who's aware that anything special is even happening, and it's just you're just kind of invisible. So,
Yeah.
it's cool to have proof that you did survive another year, but I wouldn't call that my kind of one of my top favorite, kind of dates on the calendar. Halloween, I do love Halloween. I do
Halloween
love
is
the vibe
also
of Halloween.
I think that's my second favorite, honestly.
Yeah, no,
Christmas,
Halloween's a
Halloween.
lot of fun. Yeah, Halloween's a lot of fun. But yeah, I mean, for me, it really does come back to Christmas, and that's because both for the holiday itself, but also how Christmas, obviously, at least for us, is the anchor really of the entire holiday season, and that's, on one far end you have Thanksgiving, which I agree should be its own thing and should be regarded as its own thing. But I mean, let's be honest, by the time Thanksgiving is getting around, everything, the Christmas music is really starting to creep in. Christmas shopping is on the mind.
I mean, honestly, like November 1st.
Yeah,
Is
I mean,
starting to creep in.
literally, yeah.
I always consider, because Halloween is like at the tail of October. It's
Yeah.
basically at the start of November, so I've always considered Halloween to be part of the holiday season.
Oh, yeah, I
So
would
for
say
me,
so.
it's Halloween to Thanksgiving to Christmas to New Year's. That entire
Yeah. And
uh,
and I would agree
length of
with that.
time.
Yeah, and I would agree with that. In the most generous reading of the holiday season, I would agree that it runs from October 31st to January 1st. That would be my kind of my read on that. But yeah, it's by the time you're getting to Thanksgiving, you're thinking about Christmas shopping, you've got Black Friday, Christmas music is on the radio, you're seeing Christmas themed ads on TV all the time. It's there, it's everywhere. You really can't get away from it. And so you've got Thanksgiving, 3 weeks pretty much leading up into Christmas itself, and then on the back end of that you have New Year's, which is, in my opinion, a really cool holiday in its own right. But because it's so close to Christmas,
That's also one of your favorite holidays, too.
it is. It legitimately really is. I love New Year's, and I'll tell you why. It's because, yes, obviously the fireworks, and it's an excuse to have a party and whatever else, but I also really love the
Getting
feeling
drunk.
of New Year's. Well, yes, I love that. I mean, hey, who doesn't? But I also love the feeling of New Year's in the sense of it's an opportunity in those last few days of the year, that last week of the year, in between Christmas and New Year's, to be able to genuinely step back, reflect. You're probably spending time with family. You're probably taking a couple days off of work. It's a chance to just kind of or you're probably traveling. Visiting loved ones. Who live elsewhere. It's a chance to step back, reflect on the year, look back on everything that's happened, and kind of take stock, and then look forward to the endless possibility of what the new year could bring.
It's an opportunity to be hopeful.
Exactly.
It's the best way to celebrate New Year's is to celebrate all of your accomplishments from the previous year, and then get excited about what's coming next.
Yeah, the accomplishments and the struggles too. It's an opportunity to reflect and learn from your mistakes and learn from the struggles and the travails and the problems.
Are you supposed to learn from mistakes?
Well, it's recommended. It's recommended.
Oh, shoot. Okay, that explains a lot.
Yeah,
I always just like bury them deep and ignore them. Interesting.
Yeah, well, I mean, I can't claim to be perfect on it myself, but it is a chance to reflect on everything that's happened. A chance to grow, exactly. And it's really underpinned by the boundless optimism of what the new year could be. I mean, of course, the calendar going from December 31st to January 1st doesn't magically make all your problems go away, but it is the ultimate opportunity and the ultimate signal that this is a new thing, it's a new year, it's a new chance to do things differently, and it's a new chance to grow and to learn and to better yourself and to look forward to the future, ultimately. I mean, there really is no other point in the year, other than, I suppose you could argue, your birthday, where you have so much legitimate reason to be hopeful for what comes next, to be hopeful for the future. And it's a celebration that the entire world is in on, which I think is just so wonderful. We all, for whatever reason, I mean, you can look back at history and kind of go through the many quirks of history that brought us the calendar that we know now. But, we have the same calendar observed the whole world over, and it's such a fun thing to, be able to feel like you're a part of something really big like that. The whole world experiencing,
That has
going
to be
from
the only holiday that's universally celebrated.
Yeah, actually it is when you think about it.
That's actually I never thought about that before.
Yeah, isn't that pretty cool? So
Yeah.
it's not anything that's. I mean, it has become a cultural thing, obviously, but it really is this incredibly rare thing that is universally observed. We're all going, whether we're ready or not, whether we like it or not, we're all plunging headfirst into this new
Time
year.
keeps marching on.
Exactly.
You just gotta keep up with it.
Exactly, and it's an incredible sense of renewal. It's an incredible sense of optimism, and it's just I just really enjoy that feeling of being able to look ahead, and you get 12 more months, 12 new months to really kind of create a new reality for yourself.
Yeah.
It's not always. It's not always
is
easy or even possible, but the hope is there, and that's what's so cool about it.
Yeah, I know this is a Christmas episode, but I do want to ask, do you already have New Year's resolutions planned? Have you been thinking about that, or are you still in this kind of like ethereal period before you start your reflection?
Yeah, well, for me, I don't. If I am going to start thinking seriously about New Year's resolutions, I almost never start thinking about them until after Christmas. There's so much effort and energy that goes into doing Christmas that really you don't start thinking about what's after Christmas until you actually get through it. So for me, I never start thinking about it until after Christmas. But
I think that's an interesting part about Christmas too, is because it's almost the opposite, because New Year's is all about like thinking about yourself and reflecting.
Yeah.
Christmas is about celebrating other people.
Yeah.
Thinking about other people and giving gifts.
Family, friends, loved ones, etc. Yeah.
So yeah, you're right, because this past week I've just been thinking about like, oh, what do I want to do with everyone now that my family's back in town? What do I want to get everyone? You're really outside of yourself.
You absolutely are. Yeah. You absolutely are. In a way that's completely unique at any other point in the year, I would argue. For a significant chunk of time, at least a couple of weeks, it really goes from, again, focusing on what you've got going on in your own life, and I got to do this and I got to do that, and and this and this and this, living your own life. But for a couple weeks at the end of the year, it really is a paradigm shift from me to we. And again, thinking about spending time with family and friends and loved ones, and whoever you may have in your life, and shopping for them, spending time with them. I want to meet up with this person, I want to meet up with that person, and doing all this stuff. And it is, I think, a precious and necessary opportunity to kind of step outside of yourself for a little while and kind of refocus on the bigger picture, and think about those various things. You have 11 other months of the year to worry all about you, and surely, you will. We all do. Yeah. I mean, it's life is hard enough. We all understand that. But for a couple of weeks, I think it's without a doubt, one of the greatest features of the Christmas season, of the holiday season, is kind of getting a chance to step outside of yourself and putting those things in perspective, that everything that's going on with you in your life is important, but there's also other people too, and other people who prop you up and who give the experiences in your life meaning, and people that you depend on, just as they depend on you. And a chance to really, I guess, kind of pay tribute to that by, putting in the effort and putting in the energy. And yes, it's tiring, and yes, it's expensive, and yes, it's all this other stuff. It's a lot of hassle, but it's worthwhile, because when else in the year can we reliably do this? I mean, this is the only time, that we can really do this kind of Thanksgiving to Christmas corridor. And so that's what I think is so precious about it.
Do you think that's one of the true meaning of Christmas?
I think it's part of the true meaning. I mean, you could have a million different interpretations of what.
I think everyone has their own true meaning of Christmas.
But I think that's a big part of the true meaning. Yes, I really do. So So anyway, all of this is to answer the question. Yes, Christmas is also my favorite holiday, both for what it is, but also as the anchor of this entire season, which I just, I don't mind admitting. I've told you before, I am a Christmas bitch. I admit it. I love the holiday season, and I love all the kind of the kitschy traditions that come along with that. And so, yeah, it is my favorite, definitely.
So now I have to ask, what is your favorite kitschy tradition?
Ooh, interesting. What is my favorite kitschy tradition? Um, One thing that I've always derived a lot of joy from is decorating the tree. I always like decorating the tree.
Oh yeah.
And I always prided myself on doing a good job. I always, especially when I was a kid, I love to get all the spacing right. I like to get everything. I guess you could argue this was really the beginnings of my OCD as a child. But
No.
I liked it to look nice. I like all the decorations and all the ornaments to be evenly spaced. I don't want one tier of the tree to get too heavy. You want to
Yeah.
space it out. And yeah, I always really enjoyed that. That was something that's always given me a lot of joy. So yeah, that probably would be what I would say, decorating the tree.
Yeah, I'd probably have to agree with that actually, because that's something that my family does. We make a habit out of doing every year. Is we'll have like one dedicated night where we're
Yes.
just everyone's going through the boxes and decorating the tree. And actually, in recent years, we've actually been getting like one big tree and then also like a little Charlie Brown tree that
Oh.
leave in the kitchen. And that tradition started as the cat tree, where we would like, if we got the cat's new toys and things for Christmas, we'd put it under the cat tree, and like we had a bunch of cat ornaments. And then in previous years, we started just theming the mini tree in different ways. Um, and this year, we're doing something different with the big tree, because normally it's just rainbow lights and then like as many ornaments as we can throw on it, and we have like 6 large boxes of ornaments.
Mm.
There's no way we could fit all of them on a single tree ever. But it's just about cramming as many on there. But this year, me and my dad, and I think my mom was also in support of this. We wanted to try doing like a very pretty tree with like just white lights and just the clear glass ornaments,
Mm.
and leaving it very pristine. And my brother was adamant that no, we got to do the chaos tree. So somehow we're gonna split the tree directly down the middle and do one half like white and glass ornaments, and the other half is just gonna be complete chaos. And so I'm very excited for that.
Oh wow, yeah. I would love to see a photo of that. Please send
Oh,
that to me. I
absolutely.
would.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd love to see how that turns out. So here's the question: do you still do a like real Christmas tree, or do you do artificial?
Oh yeah. No, we get real trees every year.
Hmm. Yeah.
Um, it's definitely a hassle.
Hmm.
Well, that's not entirely true. Getting the tree is easy. We used to have to drive out pretty far, but now there's the Magic Fountain actually in
Hmm.
town. During the winter, they'll close down and they'll sell Christmas trees.
Yeah. Which, for
Um,
those that don't know, that's an ice cream parlor in
yes,
Southern
yeah,
New
it's a
Jersey.
ice cream shop.
Yeah.
Um, but they actually have a decent selection. So, this year we went there. The past few years we've just gone there, and they're pretty cheap trees.
Hmm.
Or I should say inexpensive. They're good
Hmm.
quality trees, inexpensive.
Right. Yeah.
Um, we'll set those up, and we have like this big kind of wooden box stand that we put the tree on, so it's just like a little bit taller. Um, but getting it out of the house
Yeah. Yeah.
once it's done,
Yep.
it just rains needles
Yep.
everywhere.
Yep.
And it's a good like 30, 40, maybe even 50 feet from where we put it in the living room to the front door.
Oh yeah.
And so what we'll end up doing is we'll like roll up any carpets that are in the way,
Mm.
and like move them out, and then we'll like carry the tree, and then we'll just spend the next hour like vacuuming up everything.
Yep.
Um,
I remember that.
I do think it's worth it.
Mm.
I think it's worth having a real tree. Mostly probably because of the smell, I think.
Mm.
Um, it just feels fresh.
Definitely. Yeah. Yeah, no, likewise, growing up in New Jersey, we also did a real tree while we lived there. And that was also one of my favorite traditions as well. As my dad and I, we would drive out to the Christmas tree lot and we would pick out the tree. And I always so enjoy, it's that basically, when you're a kid, anytime you get any inkling of power, you hold on to it for dear life. And so
You gotta get the biggest tree, the baddest one,
exactly,
the
yeah,
tallest one.
exactly, yeah. And so you'd go to the Christmas tree lot, and you get a say in which tree you're picking out. You're not picking out some scrawny little thing. No, no, no.
Yeah.
It's got to be something that's epic looking, like out of a Christmas movie type thing. And so yeah, I always used to enjoy that. We would drive the tree back and get it inside. But yeah, no, it's all fun and games when you first get it in. You keep it watered, you decorate it, you do all that. But then, yeah, once you hit December 26th onwards, that thing starts shedding. And yeah, you've got to put a tarp down at least. I mean, just to kind of keep it all together because yeah, it's just hell to clean up afterwards.
Especially if you have cats that like to attack the bottom branches.
Yeah.
And just tear all the needles down too.
Yeah, which I can't imagine that. Yeah, because I've never had cats, but you have cats, so yeah, I can't.
We currently have 2 cats in the house.
So that's got to be tough. I mean, you can't put any ornaments on the lower level.
It's adorable.
With cats,
we still do. They just knock them down and then we put them back up. We don't put any glass ones on the lower levels.
Ah, I see.
Yeah.
But yeah, so okay, so. Seems like we have the same favorite Christmas tradition or favorite Christmas traditions. I think one last thing we wanted to talk about in this segment of the episode was some favorite Christmas memories.
Yes.
Take that big trip down memory lane. And so we were talking a couple days ago, and I actually, let slip already what my favorite Christmas memory is. So I have that ready to go. But what is your favorite Christmas memory? Or should I go first?
I can go first.
Okay.
Since you already asked the question. And I think it's the same one I told you yesterday as well, but it's the story of getting my first ever gaming console of any kind, which was the Xbox One.
Yes.
I will say my brother had gotten a Wii in previous years, and the way he did that, which I think was really smart, was he asked for Christmas, "Hey, can I either have a Wii or a drum set?" And there was no way my parents were gonna buy him a drum set. So he kind of gamed the system with that one.
$1,000+ drum kit. I wonder what they're gonna choose.
Yeah. I wasn't even about the money. I think it was about the noise.
Sure. Yeah, that too.
But for the longest time, I had wanted an Xbox One and a copy of GTA 5 because that's something that we had talked a ton about.
Yeah,
on field trips we'd be like in the back of the bus and I'd be asking you like all sorts of questions about like what kind of adventures did you have? It's like, yeah, I drove a truck off a bridge and then like jumped out and shot down a helicopter and I was like, oh, this is the coolest game ever. And I if memory serves me correctly, I believe there were multiple years where I asked Xbox and didn't get one. It's hard to judge that timescale because GTA 5 has lasted like the lives of 2 different consoles.
Yeah.
So
3
Xbox 3. Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah. So Xbox One has been around for a while and GTA 5 has been around for a while, but I'm pretty sure I asked for it like multiple years in a row.
Yeah.
And I remember like in the days leading up, I was like looking at all the boxes. I was like trying to gauge the size, and I was like, "Does this seem Xbox size?" And it didn't really seem like any of them were. But there were like a couple packages that were like disc shaped. I was like, "Oh, that could be a game. But that's probably for the Wii." And then like Christmas Day, I was kind of excited, but I was also kind of I had learned to like temper my expectations because I didn't think I was gonna get an Xbox, just because it would have been another year, and I remember opening some of those gifts that I thought would have been games, and they were like books that just happened to be thin.
Yeah.
But there was one, like towards the end of all the presents, there's one gift that my brother handed me.
Hmm.
And I tear it open. I'm like, oh, this is probably going to be another book. And it ended up being a copy of GTA 5, the Xbox. And I looked at him and I got pissed because I was convinced that he got me that as a joke because I couldn't play it because I didn't have Xbox.
Which would have been so fucked up. I mean, that would have been so fucked up.
Really fucked up, but also hilarious.
Yes, very funny,
very
definitely.
Funny. And then like the next gift I get was like an extra Xbox controller. And I was like, haha, this is so funny. Can't wait to play these on my non-existent console.
Now you're thinking this is a conspiracy. Like, everyone in my family is in on this to target me.
I was convinced that they were just like out to prank me. And then the last gift wasn't even under the tree. It was I think it was literally behind the chair I was sitting on. I just hadn't noticed because it was like one of those kind of big I don't know how to. It's not a recliner, but it's like a big chair.
Sure, yeah.
But it was
like a futon type chair.
Kind of, yeah.
Okay.
But my dad like pulled out this much bigger box from behind the chair, and it ended up being an Xbox, and I was so excited. I was over the moon. I remember, as soon as we were done with presents, I ran into the sunroom. And plugged it in. And I was like, oh, I can't wait to get this started. And then I had to wait like 6 hours for GTA 5 to install. So I didn't end up getting to play it until like first thing in the morning, December 6th.
Yeah.
But I think that's probably my favorite Christmas memory just because of the roller coaster of emotions that I went through.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one. Which, by the way, that reminds me, when we're done with this conversation, we have other stuff we want to get to, but also, I don't know that we can go through this episode without sneaking in a little GTA 6 trailer reaction. Because that came out a couple weeks ago, and I'd love to talk about that for a few minutes.
Probably should do that.
So we'll address that later on. We'll add that to our itinerary.
We'll sneak that in right after this.
Yeah,
but... We'll have like a little bit of an ad break, and the ad is just GTA 6.
Squarespace, by the way, great place to build your website.
Not sponsoring us yet, but if you want to, that would be fantastic.
Yeah, not a sponsor, just a fan.
I actually do have a Squarespace website. I have to say it's a fantastic platform.
Well, there you go. Well, check out Reid's website.
Yeah, reidcrispin.com.
There you go. There it is.
ReidChrispin.com. You can message me directly if you want any freelance film work. Editing, music composition.
Hire him.
Please hire me, sponsor me.
And thank you, Squarespace, for the services that you are paid to render. So, and with that, back to the episode. So that's a great story. And my favorite Christmas story is along very similar lines, which is probably how we ended up talking about this in the first place a couple days ago. But yeah, so my favorite Christmas story, or one of my favorite Christmas stories, but certainly the one that stands out to me the most looking back now, is also revolving around me obtaining a gaming console. But this was a few years prior to your story. This was in 2007, Christmas 2007. So, a little gaming history for those of you who don't know. The Nintendo Wii came out in 2006, and obviously when it came out, it was a phenomenon. It would very quickly become the best-selling video game console ever, a title it may still hold for all I know. It was unbelievable how popular this thing was when it came out. And it was such a breakthrough, not just because, the people that you would expect were buying it, obviously kids asking their parents for it, gamers. No, your aunt and uncles would have Wiis. Your grandparents would have a Wii at their house. People that, older folks, the people who had never touched a gaming console before, suddenly started having Wiis.
Didn't it, become one of the best-selling consoles of all time? And
literally, it was, well, I don't know, yeah.
I don't think it was that fast, but it was like within a couple weeks, it was just already top of the list.
Yeah, I do know it did end up being the best-selling console of all time. Again, I don't know if it still holds that. I don't know if it still holds that title, but it probably does, honestly, because of how universal its appeal was.
Let's find out.
Yeah. But yes, so this thing was huge when it came out. It was absolutely the bee's knees. And if I can say that, as well, actually, let's see what Reed finds here. Is the Wii still the best-selling console?
Ooh, Wii is the 7th now.
Oh, what happened?
At 101.63 million units sold.
Oh wow.
Above it is PlayStation
Okay,
in
the
6th,
original PlayStation.
and then PlayStation 4 at number 5.
Oh.
Game Boy and Game Boy Color at number 4. Nintendo Switch at number 3. Nintendo DS at number 2, and PlayStation 2 at number 1, with over 155 million units sold.
Do you know what shocks me is PlayStation 4 being above the Wii? I never would have guessed the PS4 would have outsold the Wii. That's a real surprise. But yeah. Well, anyway, I never would have guessed the Wii would have fallen out of the top 5 by now. But at the time,
and then the Wii U was only 13 million.
Yeah, and also I feel like because if you disinclude the handheld consoles from that list, the Wii would still be top 5. And at the time, obviously, because a few of those consoles came out afterwards, the Wii was like top 3.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean,
at the time it was
huge. I mean, again, like it was like young kids would have it. You know, old people would have it. Your aunt and uncle who never played a video game before, they would have it. You know, like it was crazy how ubiquitous this thing was. And so, of course, being a 7-year-old kid in 2007, all I wanted in this world was a Nintendo Wii of my own. You know, you would go to school, kids would be talking about the Wii games they're playing. You would go to your friends' houses and they would have Wiis, and it would kill you when you went back to your house and then you couldn't also be playing Mario Kart Wii, or you couldn't also be playing one of these cool games, you know, Wii Sports. You remember how huge Wii Sports was? I mean, that was really what was driving the appeal of it, was the motion control. You know, you can play tennis in your house, you can play baseball in your house, you can do all this stuff. And so
my favorite was either bowling or golf.
Well, bowling I think is the ultimate classic. Yeah, the bowling was awesome. And so, yeah, I mean, it was this incredible group activity, and that came with the console. So honestly, if all you wanted was that, you just buy the console and you're good to go. And a lot of people did that. So yeah, so I was desperate for a Wii, absolutely desperate, as was every kid in this in this time frame. And so, of course, that year, you know, you have your wish list of, oh, you know, I wish for this, I wish for that. That year, I'm sure I wrote down several items, but there was only one item that mattered. There was only one item in bold print in 48-point font at the very top, and that was a Wii. And so you spend the entire year looking forward to this thing. Oh, I hope I get a Wii. I hope I get a Wii. I hope I get a Wii. You're begging for the Wii. You're pleading for it. And then Christmas finally arrives. And so there I am, like you know, you don't even sleep Christmas Eve. I mean, it's just it's a sleepless night, pretty much.
Yeah.
You know, you're so excited, and so the second that dawn breaks and it's socially acceptable for you to explode out of your room and go, you know, rapping on your parents' door, that's what you do. And so you explode out of your room, you get your parents up, you know, you go downstairs, and so the way we would do it is stockings always come first. You know, you can't skip right to the good stuff. You know, we got to follow the protocol. So, you know, you go downstairs, first is stockings. And that's all, you know, your little trinkets and little stuff. And that's all very
Candies,
nice.
Chocolates.
Yeah, exactly. You know, all those fun little bells and whistles. And then it's breakfast, you know, because no one's actually eaten yet. So, you know, you do your stockings, you have that. Then you do breakfast. And then it's time for presents. But this year was a little bit different, because this year we were actually hosting our own kind of get-together Christmas dinner type thing that year. And so this time, I think we opened up a few presents under the tree in the morning, but we waited for, you know, most of it until, you know, the evening. And so, you know, that in itself was torture, because as you said, this whole time you're looking forward to Christmas, all you could think about is, how am I going to be able to tell right away if there is a Wii under this tree? And so literally we would go to Toys R Us. And did you also go to the Toys R Us on Route 10 in East Hanover? Or do you remember that Toys R Us?
No, I would have gone to the one that's kind of in Watchung, close to Scotch Plains.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, well,
with the TGI Fridays.
Gotcha. Yeah, no, I probably wouldn't have been to that one, but I'll assume that Toys R Us are pretty much laid out
Toys
the
R Us
same
is Toys
way.
R Us. Yeah.
Yeah, and so you walk into Toys R Us, you're looking straight ahead. That's where you've got your bulky stuff, the bikes and the play places and all that stuff. On the left-hand side, you've got like your Legos, your board games, all that stuff. But if you walk in and turn left and you walk to the other end of the store, that was the video game section. And that's where I would go first, because you'd go to the video game section and then you would go to where they keep the consoles behind the glass, and you would just look at the box and you would take a mental picture
It's
of
like you
the
have all these
dimensions.
like equations floating around your head.
Literally, like you would literally be staring at this box trying to memorize its dimensions, so that exactly, so that you would know that if you saw that same size box under the tree, you're in luck. And so I've been, kind of scoping out the tree, all day and trying to get a sense of it, and there's a few boxes that
Pick
maybe
one
it
up and
could
you
be.
shake it a little bit.
Yeah, you try to get a sense of it. There's a few things that maybe it could be in there, but it's hard to tell. I'm not seeing an exact match yet, but it could be there. I'm just not seeing it. And so we get to the evening. Everyone is in place. Time to open the rest of the presents. And so how it goes. You have one person you designate to kind of be the Santa, to call out whose gift is for whom and kind of distribute.
Yep.
And so I'm just, again, I'm a 7-year-old kid, so I'm just kind of sitting in the corner waiting in my turn, kind of building up my Smaug's horde of of gifts that are kind of arrayed around you. Because when you're a cute 7-year-old, everybody's bringing you a gift, So you're sitting pretty there.
And you don't have to spend money on other people too, because you don't have a job. You
Exactly.
don't have money. You don't have to worry about giving other
exactly.
people gifts.
So literally, you just sit there and accumulate stuff.
It's
awesome.
actually funny because I think we were reflecting on how Christmas is about other people. I think as a kid, it is all about you.
It is all about.
And it's all about the gifts you get.
It is.
And it's not until you get older that you appreciate the act of like giving something to someone else.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think that's really funny.
No, you're absolutely right. When you're a kid, it's all about you.
It's not even all about you. It's all about your things that you're getting.
Exactly.
It's all about stuff.
Yeah, the
it's
stuff
a very
that
capitalist holiday for sure.
Exactly. Yeah. Honestly, how all of us could have that experience and not grow up all raging narcissists is remarkable to me.
I will say I definitely grew up to be a very materialistic person.
Oh yeah. Well,
I've put a lot of I have a lot of emotional connections with just the stuff I own.
Oh sure, yeah.
I like to own things. I hope that doesn't make me a narcissist or like.
No, I don't think so. I think
I just appreciate the things I own.
Yeah, to be honest, do you want to know what honestly that makes you? It doesn't make you a narcissist. It makes you an American. That's what it makes you. And hey, we're all in that same boat. I'm the same way. It's just kind of how we do things in this country. So, I think that's really what it boils down to.
Yeah, privilege.
But yeah, so anyway, I'm sitting there, I'm getting this stuff, everything's going well, maybe you get some books, maybe you get like a shirt, some pants, I don't know if it was the same year, but I got like this cool like marble run set where it's like, it's kind of like Legos, but it's like, a do-it-yourself marble run, and I loved that thing. I always loved like weird marble runs and Rube Goldberg machines and all that kind of stuff.
I actually have one.
Oh yeah.
It's like one of those where it's like you pop out the wooden pieces and then kind of like stack it together.
Yeah. No, those were really cool.
Fun. Yeah.
And so, but of course, I'm still waiting on my white whale. I'm still waiting on the Wii. And so we're getting through it, and then all of a sudden I start to realize, we're getting to the end of the tree here. There's not a lot of stuff left. And I'm not really seeing any Wii-sized boxes here, so what's going on? I thought I made myself very clear. The only thing I wanted was a Wii, and I'm not seeing it. And so, we keep going, and then we reach the end, the last gift, and no Wii in sight. And I'm looking around at my stuff, and again, this is all fine, but this isn't the one thing that I'm looking for. And so I'm looking around, and I'm like, Christmas has come and gone, and no Wii, and I'm devastated. I'm like, I've literally spent all year looking forward to this, like literally begging my parents to get me this thing, and pinning all of my hopes on it, and it's not there. And so I'm like, I'm kind of crestfallen. I mean, obviously, even at 7 years old, I had enough sense to know it wouldn't be appropriate for me to just throw a tantrum right here.
Yeah.
So, let me remove myself to the kitchen and have a sulk there and just kind of feel sorry for myself. And so I do that. And I go to the kitchen, and I don't even know if anyone really noticed me leaving or not. But I'm in there, and I'm just having a little sulk to myself, like I wish I had got the Wii. I gotta wait another year and all this stuff. And then after a few minutes, my dad comes to find me, and he says, hey, I think you're forgetting something. There's one more gift under the tree, and it's for you. And I'm like, oh, well, I'm pretty fucking sure when I looked at it, there were no gifts under the tree,
Don't fuck with me, old man.
Yes, and of course I'm inserting some contemporary dialogue into this scenario. Yeah. but yeah, no, I looked under that tree very carefully, and I didn't see anything else under there. I'm pretty sure that tree is now barren. But no, hey, you should come back to the living room. There's something else. And so all right, fine. You better not be messing with me. Better not be toying with my emotions. And so I go back to the living room, and sure enough, there is one last big box wrapped up under the tree, front and center. And right away, immediately, for the moment I come back into the living room, I see that's a Wii-sized box. I have been training for this for too long to not know that that is a Wii-sized, Wii-proportioned box. And so the moment I see that, it all makes sense. Of course, my parents, they held back one last gift. They wanted it to be the ultimate surprise at the end. And so when I see this box under the tree, I shit you not, I didn't walk. I didn't run. I leaped and lunged towards that tree. I dove for it. And I didn't even bring it back to my little area. I think I just ripped up the wrapping right then and there because I was so desperate to see
like
what was under.
Rat, like
I mean, honestly, I don't think I've ever been more Wolverine-like as a child than in that moment.
Ravenous.
Exactly. But I mean, can you blame me? You talked about your emotional roller coaster. Well, this was my emotional roller coaster. And so the moment I saw that this box was the right size box, there was not a force on this earth that could stop me from getting to it. And so I rip open the wrapping, and sure enough, there it is, those big, beautiful letters, the Wii. And it was, I don't know if you remember, it was that beautiful stark white box with the gray letters. And then you had the image of the console on the back. And yeah, that moment, that was euphoria for me. I mean, that was the just unbridled surprise and joy on my face at that moment is what makes it such an iconic Christmas memory for me. For me, really, the iconic Christmas memory, because it had everything. I mean, as you said, you had the build-up, the anticipation, the emotional roller coaster, the feeling that people are messing with you, and then sure enough, the payoff, kind of the validation. And yeah, that feeling, that for me, that's a pure distillation of the joy of what Christmas can be, especially when you're a kid. When you're a kid and you have that moment, it's just the best thing in the world, honestly. It really is. And so, yeah, that was a very, very happy Christmas, my favorite Christmas memory. And yeah, sure enough, like you, I had to wait until the next day to actually plug it in and actually play it. But that next day, December 26th, it was like Christmas part 2. I woke up as early as I possibly could. I banged on my parents' door. I begged them to set it up for me. They got it set up. And then I put in Wii Sports, and I literally played Wii Sports for the rest of the day. Like, literally, that's all I did. I did the tennis, I did the golf, I did the baseball, I did the bowling, I did it all.
That's one of those days where you're like in your pajamas the entire time too, right?
Literally, yeah. And so, yeah, and then a few days later, that weekend, because there's one more part to the story, I didn't just get the console with Wii Sports. My parents also got me one Wii game, my first proper Wii game. and that game was Super Mario Galaxy. And I played that when the weekend came around. I did the same thing where I woke up and I just played that all day. And honestly, I was inseparable from it because anyone who's played that game, especially at the time, knows how special that game was. And that really was the beginning of my love for the Mario franchise and the beginning of my love for just that style of game. And I love that game to pieces. To this day, one of my favorite games of all time. That's my story pretty much. So that's my story. But yeah, very, very fond Christmas memory. And then, of course, in the months and years that followed, I would assemble a kind of a collection of all the great Wii staples, starting with Mario Kart Wii, of course, which I maintain is, before Mario Kart 8 Deluxe's Booster Pass courses started coming out. For me, Mario Kart Wii remained the superior Mario Kart game. It was the best.
I think just from like a gameplay standpoint, it's still the best because you have those like weird glitchy shortcuts that you can do, whereas 8 is just very, very structured.
And also, just one of the strongest rosters of original courses that we've gotten in a Mario Kart game. I mean, let's remember some of the absolute bangers that Mario Kart Wii gave us. Gave us Toad's Factory, gave us Coconut Mall, gave us Wii Rainbow Road, which is my favorite Rainbow Road out of all of them.
I have to say, Dry Ruins was my all-time favorite.
Dry Ruins was fantastic.
Love that course.
Yeah, I mean,
Wario's Gold Mine too.
Yeah, Wario's Gold Mine, and also
one,
also I forget what it's called, but the ski course one, I think that was also Wario themed.
DK Summit.
No, the other one where there was like snowboarding luges and like they were going down.
That's DK Summit.
That is DK Summit. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Sorry. I love that course to death. So yeah,
I think that's my brother's favorite.
Yeah,
that's a great one.
In my opinion, the strongest roster we've ever gotten of original courses for a Mario Kart game. And now that we're getting the booster course pass for Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, now it's kind of becoming the Smash Ultimate of Mario Kart, so it kind of becomes the best by default.
Yeah.
But that notwithstanding, for me, Mario Kart Wii, for me, is the quintessential Mario Kart game. And I played that game to pieces. I unlocked every character. I can't tell you how many times I replayed it, played it with friends, did the multiplayer. I adored that game. I mean, who didn't? Kind of in our era of childhood, that 2000s era, what was better than going to a friend's house or having friends over to your house and playing Mario Kart Wii? There was nothing better.
Yeah.
So,
what was your? Do you remember what your setup was? Like character and card.
So I don't mind admitting I am a Dry Bones main. I'm a Dry Boner. Dry Boner for life. That's I love Dry Bones. He's my favorite little guy. So he would be my main. Toad was cool. I'd go Luigi on occasion. Honestly, I did like when they Rosalina was an unlockable character because, of course, I also loved Super Mario Galaxy, so that was kind of a fun carryover. So, I tried to play every character at least once. I tried to kind of mix it up and not do the same thing every time. But yeah, of all characters, Dry Bones was my go-to guy. So yeah, how about you? Who was yours?
So I kind of went through different eras.
Also Waluigi. That was another favorite of mine.
Yeah. I think I was also, like, when I first started playing, I was also a Dry Bones main.
Oh, hey, Dry Boners for life.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. No, but I would do Dry Bones with the Magic Cruiser. I think just because that had the highest off-road stats, so it's just kind of easier for a new player like myself to kind of stay on course. But I always loved bikes. I always preferred bikes.
Oh, you were a bike guy.
I was a bike guy, and I always drove manual.
Interesting. Okay.
Yes.
So you like a challenge then? I
like a challenge. I like games with high skill ceilings where you can get better. and once you like develop that skill, you kind of become better than other people.
Yeah.
All three of us were very much Mario Kart aficionados.
I'm sure.
And all got to a higher level. I think my skill level has since dropped drastically. But for a while I was Dry Bones, Magic Cruiser, and then eventually I switched to King Boo.
Oh yeah. Also, I do also really like King Boo as well.
Yeah. King Boo was one of my favorites, and I think I used him on the like, I forget what it was called, but it was like the Rosalina themed bike.
Oh yeah. I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, and then my like final era was like Bowser Jr. on the mock bike.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was definitely not a bike guy. I always went karts. I rarely went bikes. And I don't think I admit it. I never went manual. I always went automatic. And I was.
Well, I don't think we've ever gone head to head on Mario Kart. I think that's something that needs to be settled one of these days.
No,
yeah.
we've definitely played Mario Kart Wii together back in our middle school days, at least once.
At some point, yeah, probably.
Yeah. But yeah, no. What I love about
though, I don't think so.
Yeah, well, hey, we're in the age of the Switch now. I don't know if you must have Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, I reckon, or have.
I mean, it's my brother's Switch, but.
Yeah, but you have access to it.
Yes.
So we can make that happen. So yeah, hey, stay tuned.
Me and Metal Mario will kick your ass.
Oh well, you know what? That's fine, and I'll tell you why I love King Boo as well is because. He's not even really in the cart. He's just kind of floating just above the cart. And so I always thought that looked so funny. So yeah, I also love
the fact that he's a heavy character, even though he literally weighs nothing.
Yeah, literally lighter than air. Yeah. Yeah, so I always thought that was so funny. But yeah, no, as far as carts go, I always like the Bad Wagon. I thought the Bad Wagon looked pretty cool, so I kind of like that low rider aesthetic. So
yeah, I feel like for a while I just chose carts and bikes based on aesthetics over.
Yeah, and that's fine. I mean,
that's why I chose Dry Bones and King Boo, because for the aesthetic.
Definitely. So yeah. So anyway, we can continue taking this trip down memory lane, but those are our favorite Christmas memories. Let's keep moving through this. So next up, we have what I hope will be a recurring segment on the show, and that is the segment that I like to call Zillow Gone Wild. Now, for those of you who don't know, Zillow Gone Wild is an Instagram page, which is kind of a compilation of all the best and weirdest Zillow listings, and all kind of collected in one convenient place. And so we were thinking, well, this is our Christmas episode. How can we kind of do a riff on Zillow Gone Wild that's Christmassy? And Reid, you had the idea of Zillow Gone Santa.
Each property based on how easy or difficult it would be for Santa to get inside and deliver presents.
Exactly. So we're going to call this Zillow Gone Santa. So let's talk about some of these listings, and let's talk about, what would Santa think about this? How would he be able to, both ingress, egress, and just also kind of the general holiday vibe, Christmassy feel. So let's start with Utica, Michigan here, shall we? Utica, Michigan. Now, this is a pretty nice home. On today's episode, you never know what's going on inside a home, but actually maybe we can tell a little bit from the outside. Which, like I was like, very Christmassy, very nice right off the bat. Now,
the first thing I noticed when I first saw that was flat roof, great for landing a sleigh.
Yes, definitely.
Great for parking reindeer, but there's no chimneys.
No, yeah, none that we can see. Yeah, also a lot of stairs. These are very beautiful, like Baroque styled stairs, but that's Santa, he's got an entire planet to cover in a night. So, all those stairs are just going to be a hindrance. Now, that looks like a fireplace, but I don't know if there's a chimney connected to it or if it's just
a fireplace in front of a window.
Exactly.
So
I think
if Santa has magical powers to exit through any fireplace, that might be okay. But if he has to physically go down a chimney, then he's going to have to find like a window or a back door.
Yeah, that's going to be tough. That's definitely going to be tough. So keep going through this. I must say, lovely kitchen. Lovely marble countertops. Then we get to this. I guess this is, what is this? Is this like a bath inside? I think it's like a Roman bath
or like a hot tub.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Which is pretty neat.
Insane.
Nice pool table, rec area. But then we get to this, and this is what confounded us the first time, because you go back and you remember those beautiful Baroque staircases and that beautiful styling from before, and then you made the comment, this was like a rundown YMCA.
Yeah. YMCA meets like spa.
Yeah,
in that one corner with
there's an in-ground indoor pool with like polyurethane ceiling that's like held up by this one pillar right here.
Polyurethane ceiling, which is, known for leaking and not handling moisture well. And you're going to have that hanging over a pool.
Yeah, perfect for a pool room, of course. And then also, they'd have a giant pool outside too. So
I think they're connected. If you go back. I think there's a little like space where you can kind of connect the two.
Well, maybe that could redeem it a little bit, because you can seamlessly swim inside and outside.
But if that's how Santa has to get inside the house,
not practical.
He's like dragging his sack of toys through the water. Everything's gonna get wet and water damaged.
That's not gonna work. Yeah,
bad.
It's not gonna...
Bad.
So ultimately, it gets kind of confusing by the end. And I would say with all the stairs, I feel like this is going to be a 4 out of 10 for me on the Santa meter. What do you think?
Yeah, I think 4 out of 10 is fair.
Yeah,
there's a lot of nice spaces where you could put a tree or several trees. A lot of room for presents. Good places to put out milk and cookies, but getting in and out is just not comfortable.
Yeah, not what you want ultimately. So I think that's a good place for Utica. 4 out of 10. Moving on to Morrison, Colorado. Now, this is a treehouse vibe. My first comment is it might be tough for Santa to spot because it's in a very much a wooded area, and it blends in a lot with the surrounding forest. So that could be a demerit, hard to find. But wow, look at that interior.
But log cabin vibes.
Log cabin
goes really well with Christmas.
Definitely.
I mean, you can just imagine it snowing outside.
And look at these, these old timey appliances too. Look at this stove.
Yeah.
This is
this is literally could be straight out of Santa's workshop. Honestly,
yeah. I mean, honestly, this is like a straight up wood fired stove.
I can imagine a good batch of homemade chocolate chip cookies still warm sitting on that oven stove top.
Which, by the way,
nice glass of milk next to it.
You have to love the wood-fired stove inside your wooden house. That's got to be. I can't imagine what could possibly go wrong there.
I will say though, go back. Look at those cabinets. Aren't those just gorgeous?
They are. They're very nice.
I've never seen anything like that before.
I love
that's
aqua
awesome.
Blue.
Yeah, the stained glass cabinets.
Yeah,
the kind of like tree branch pattern. It's a very natural feeling home.
Yeah, and I referred to this as the love nest earlier. There's no other way to describe it.
The giant mirror next to it.
I mean, yeah.
Possibly one on the ceiling. You don't know.
Yeah, the mirror really is what sells it. I mean, you can tell that, whoever owns this, whoever decorated this, they're proud of their game. They really wanted that to be the centerpiece because the bed takes up like half the room. The bed with these side pieces, I mean, the bed is the main attraction. You cannot get away from it. And so it's very 70s, but there is some charm in that. This is interesting. You've got like an indoor sauna, basically, which is kind of cozy. Santa might appreciate that. It gets cold up there at high altitude, so could be a point there. This is nice. You got a lovely mountain view.
Now go back. Look at that fireplace. That's one of those like old ones with just a single metal tube.
Yeah.
How is Santa gonna fit down that?
No, it's
not that skinny. I'm not that skinny. I couldn't.
No, not at all. No, I don't think it's not going to work at all.
For ingress and egress, this one's not the best.
Yeah.
It does have very strong Christmas vibes though.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. Another tub. Now you've got like an arts and crafts area here, which is pretty neat.
You need to do some last minute wrapping.
Last minute wrapping. I was just about to say, yeah, that could be handy for that. Now we have to talk about
disgusting.
The yellow bathroom, yellow tub lined with shag carpet. Is there any more egregious design sin? I mean, I guess we'll see, but one of the most egregious design sins is the shag carpet in the bathroom, especially when the shag carpet leads up to the tip of the bathtub.
Yeah.
Who the hell wants that?
This bathroom screams, I deserve coal.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I don't know who thought this was a good idea, but I have a lot of questions. But then, of course, you got the view. But of course, Santa can't stay to admire the view because he's got to go. So I will say it isn't in the middle of a forest, but that forest is just 30 minutes from downtown Denver, apparently. So maybe not that far out of the way. Um, my gut reaction, Santa might appreciate the sauna. Maybe could pop in there real quick. The art room could be good for wrapping. But as you said, the ingress and egress leaves something to be desired. This could be a more traditional fireplace.
Yeah, that he could get through, I think.
Yeah. So I'm gonna say I don't want to be too kind because we still have several to get to, but I'm thinking maybe 6 out of 10.
That I was gonna say 6. I was literally we've been on the exact same page this entire episode.
Yeah, I'm telling you, this is what it has to be. So okay, so there you go. Now on to Pasadena, California. Okay.
This one, you had mentioned to me. Is that the McAllister home from Home Alone?
It looks a little bit like it, doesn't it?
It does. If you ignore the extension on the right side, it does look like the Home Alone house, which does earn it points for nostalgia. And also 2 massive chimneys up top, either side.
Yeah, so very nice. Pasadena, California, so right in the heart of the action. And right off the bat, big fireplace.
Easy ingress, egress.
Perfect for Santa.
Easy, plenty of room.
Yeah. Ooh, nice big kitchen. Look at that. Look at that. Two kitchen islands. Wow.
That's insane.
You know you're rich when I think we're gonna have a lot of those moments where it's like you're rich when you have 2 kitchen islands.
Yeah, we have 1 island for the cookies and 1 island for the milk.
That's pretty cool. Nice library area right there. That's pretty cool.
That is a gorgeous study.
Wine cellar, and I feel like, it's a long night. I feel like Santa, he might want to get a little low, especially because by the time he's on the west coast of America, he's almost done.
Yeah.
So, you might want to get a little celebration, maybe sneak a little bottle of Cabernet, take it back to the North Pole, celebrate. I think we can all agree that by the time December 25th is come and gone, Santa deserves a drink, honestly,
At the very least.
Yeah. So, that could be useful for that. Nice home theater, great for watching Christmas movies. And this is very cool. Now, I'm just going to say, this is not Christmassy at all, but this is just awesome. A tiki bar inside your house. That's cool. Would you not want to hang out there? I would absolutely want to hang out there. I feel like if one of your friends has this in their house, that friend becomes the designated hangout friend, and they can't argue. They cannot.
You know that the people who live in this house get the best presents.
Yes, absolutely.
From Santa, because he delivers the best presents to the wealthiest kids.
Also, I want to point this out. The estate has a fully restored English pub, 2,500 bottle wine cellar, 6 secret doors, an art gallery with a 2-story atrium, and the tiki bar. That's insane. I don't know what else to say. What is the price of this house?
That's
$36,500,000 for this.
For all of that?
For this,
I feel like that's actually pretty good.
I mean, it makes sense. Don't get me wrong. It absolutely makes sense.
No, but for Pasadena,
I know.
think that's on the low end, to be completely candidly honest.
Totally makes sense, but it's just, wow. That's a lot of money. Here's the art gallery. Yeah, so.
Well, great outdoor space to land the sleigh too.
Yeah, that's
doesn't
true.
even need to go on the roof necessarily.
Now this is the point that we wanted to mention. The gift wrapping station. That is Santa perfect. That's got to be at least a point just for that. And then the nice pool outdoor area. So yeah, I feel like all the extra stuff, because I mean, again, it's a huge mansion, so obviously that's going to be big bucks. But also, I feel like all the extras, the English pub, the wine cellar, the art gallery, with the 2-story atrium, I feel like that's what really kind of ratchets it up to where it is. But to your point, I mean, given the location, $36 million is probably low, honestly.
Yeah.
I wonder, you probably have to bring your own art. That's probably, the art probably doesn't come with the art gallery. Like you'll own the art gallery, but you'll have to bring your own art in. Yeah, is my guess.
And your own wine too.
Yeah, exactly.
They'd probably just remove all the wine and all the liquor from the pub.
But I mean, but can you imagine, like, literally you have a pub and a tiki bar. It's like, where do I want to go? Where do I want to drink on my property tonight? Where do I want to party tonight? The 2,500 bottle wine cellar, the tiki bar, or the pub? That's pretty funny. So, but yeah, and the movie theater too.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. So, I think this has got to be at least an 8 out of 10. I mean, this is perfect for Santa. I feel like.
Yeah, I was gonna go 9.
Yeah, I mean, I'm fine with 9. Honestly, this is a perfect Santa house, and the gift wrapping station, perfect Santa house. Okay, now we're getting into some of the weird ones. Now we're in Clifton, Texas. This is called Parsons Castle, where you cross a drawbridge into a grand foyer with a 3,000 square foot ballroom. Okay, well, I mean, obviously, right off the bat, this is insane looking. Imagine having this in your neighborhood. I mean, this is, I don't know exactly where Clifton, Texas is, but I can't imagine. Well, yes, I can imagine.
If I had to guess.
But actually, I mean, I can look it up right now. Let's go to Google Maps here. Google Maps. Let's look up where Clifton, Texas is. How close that is to a major metropolitan area. Clifton, Texas. Okay, so it's a small town outside of Waco, Texas, which is, you know, a bit south of like Dallas-Fort Worth. So, okay. So we're out in the sticks. So, you know, you probably wouldn't have a lot of people actually living nearby to this. But considering it's a small Texas town, having a like 5-6 story castle house is pretty cool.
Yeah. I will say, though, no place to land. No solid roof to land on.
Yeah, that would be tricky.
And no fireplace chimney.
Yeah, that would be tricky. Okay, so, you know, oh, wow. What is this? Wait,
whoa.
What is this? Are these... Clifton, Texas is not a coastal area. So what is this water that we're looking...
screens?
Yeah, I was going to say, are these like video screens?
They might be if you look at the like black border.
That's wild.
On all of this.
That would be a weird feeling to wake up to. You wake up to an artificial landscape outside of your artificial windows.
Although it could be snowing on Christmas that way in Texas.
Oh, I mean, I don't know, but that's yeah, I'm not sure what to make of that, honestly. I mean, again, Clifton, Texas, as we just saw, is not a coastal area, so I'm not sure where all of this water is coming into it.
How far is it from Houston? Because maybe these were taken during the hurricane.
Yeah, far. It's far. So,
yeah, no, it's definitely. There's got to be screens for sure.
Yeah, that's. And are these also screens? How many? Wait.
Is that an artificial? Maybe that's like an artificial.
Maybe or maybe it's just like next to a lake or something. Because I mean, I guess there are lakes around. There's this lake.
Well, put in. Is the actual address listed?
Well, here I can put in Parsons Castle and see if Parsons Castle. Okay, yeah, so it is on the lake actually.
So those are windows.
Yeah, never mind. It is on Lake Whitney. Okay. Well, I stand corrected. So it's both a house and a wedding venue, apparently, is what it looks like. Which honestly, I mean, it's a pretty cool wedding venue, I would say. I would have my wedding there.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
But of all the castles in the United States, probably not Texas. Like, if you're going to have a castle wedding, you probably should go to Europe.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah. I guess, like, yeah, if you wanted a castle wedding, but you wanted to stay local, then it could work. But, okay, well, it's very pretty, but what would Santa find useful about any of this? There's no chimneys, no level ceilings, no level roof.
In order to get in, you'd have to sneak past the battlements and the archers.
That's true. Like, yeah. I mean, how does that work?
Yeah, you'd have to fight his way inside.
I mean, honestly, you know, this isn't even really a house. This is a castle wedding venue. Is what this is. And so I don't know. I mean, it's very pretty, but I don't feel like it even registers.
Castles and Christmas just don't really go together. I feel like.
Yeah, no, I feel like it just doesn't really work. So I don't know. I mean, I feel like best I can do is like a 3 on the Santa scale.
Yeah. I was gonna go like 4, but yeah,
Okay,
I'll
yeah.
do 3.
We'll tell you what, because it's so pretty, we'll call it a 4 because
Okay.
it is very nice.
Yeah.
All right, well,
And
this
this
is
one,
very interesting.
I saw this one from the page, and I was like, you have to tab that one up because of the
Yeah.
massive chimney.
Pauling, New York. So let's see, where is Pauling, New York? Pauling, New York is,
In New York.
yeah, it's in upstate New York in the middle of nowhere, pretty much. It's like in between New York and Albany, basically. So, all right.
So he's gonna be exhausted after delivering presents to all of Manhattan.
Yeah, and also the entirety of the world before that as well.
Yeah, so that's something to keep in mind.
Yeah, but certainly very striking with obviously a massive chimney right off the bat. So that's pretty cool.
Also, great Victorian aesthetic.
It is. It definitely is.
Beautiful.
Elizabethan style manor on 25.5 acres. It comes with 2 caretaker homes, a carriage house with groom's quarters, a yoga studio, 12,000 square foot stable, greenhouse, and more. Caretaker homes, a carriage house, and groom's quarters. I mean, that is literally straight out of Downton Abbey, is what that is right there. You know,
a carriage house, store the sleigh, stables for the reindeer.
Grand staircase there. Also, I do love this ceiling. I mean, this is
That's really
very
cool.
striking right there.
Is that just painted, or is there lights in the ceiling?
I don't know. I mean, it almost looks like there's lights, but it
Yeah.
could just be painted. I don't know. But that's either way, it's cool. I like it a lot.
Yeah.
Also, just kind of the weird statues and suits of armor everywhere is very.
Man, when I own my own house, I hope to God that I can afford just a suit of armor to like.
That would be awesome. Yeah,
I would love that.
It'd be a very in that way.
Even if it doesn't fit with the aesthetic of the house, I don't care. I want to have a suit of armor standing.
And yeah, it could be like a very feudal thing. I'm holding court, you know, because you've already got a sword, so you've got your sword, you've got your suit of armor.
That's true, but this is more of a model sword. That's not a real. It's not sharp.
Sure. Oh yeah. Well, you could get a real one though. I hope.
I plan to eventually.
I hope one day you get a true Arthurian like steel.
I want like a good claymore.
That would be great. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
just hang that above my bed and pray that it doesn't fall in my sleep.
Yeah. Which also, once again, this is very old school. This feels like something like out of like Harry Potter or something. Yeah. Like, this feels like a Harry Potter.
Is good Christmas vibes.
It is. It definitely is. Love the stained glass. That's very cool. Very Christmassy. And now here we get one of the big Santa pluses, the stables. That's going to be, you know, because not only can you put the sleigh down there, but also the reindeer can get something to eat. They can get tended to.
They can drink from the water troughs.
Exactly, yeah. So that's very good. Ample land to land on. This feels like a great house to experience Christmas in. I feel like this would be a great house.
Look at the fireplace.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if we go back to here, huge fireplace. So yeah, this would be a great house to experience Christmas in, I feel like. And I mean, it's in the middle of nowhere, but 6,500,000 is not bad for all this. So if you're a big equestrian, if you're a big horse guy or horse girl, this is your place right here. So So Santa scale,
I think
very good.
If it's going to be a 10 on this list anywhere, it's going to be this house.
I would agree. I think that if any house is going to make a case, it would be this one. This one is very strong, and this and the Knoll house, I would say, are right up there.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I would say, if you want to say 10, I'll agree with you. I mean, this is excellent for Santa. Okay. This is crazy.
This is a science lab.
La Crescenta, California. Let's see if I can even spell that correctly. La Crescenta, California. La Crescenta, California is, okay, LA area, not far. So, okay, well, we have to address, it looks like a spaceship. It looks like a space station is what it looks like.
Yeah, it looks like some kind of military compound or like science lab.
This could
not
be a missile base.
Very cozy, warm, welcoming.
Yes. So, and also we haven't seen this one yet, so this will be the first time we're experiencing this.
Yes.
An architectural masterpiece main residence, along with an 875 square foot addition with a primary suite that has a curvilinear penny tile bathroom. A penny tile bathroom, what is that? A 50-foot lap pool, outdoor movie pavilion, catering kitchen for just $8 million for a huge mansion in LA. That's pretty good. So
That's insane.
yeah, especially one again that looks like a Star Trek ship, basically. So, yeah, let's see this. Is that like a giant dream catcher? What is that?
Yeah, or like maybe a wind thing.
No, maybe, yeah. I mean, I'm sure the views in this house will be crazy.
Yeah. But not like Christmas vibes.
Yeah, no, it's very sleek, very minimalist, very modern. I mean, look at this. I mean, it's cool. Don't get me wrong. It's definitely cool, but it feels like someone trying to be too cute by half.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, oh, this pod is the tub pod, and this is the shower section that's kind of separate, and it's like three different pods with different things. And it's like, well, that's fine, but I just want to like take a shower. Like this feels all very complicated.
Yeah.
For the different pods, but
It's like, would I want to live here? Yes, absolutely. Would I want to host friends and family here for Christmas? I don't know.
It's I mean, you would have to give them an instruction book of like how everything works to navigate
this
house.
home feels like it's straight out of Ex Machina.
It is. It absolutely is. Oh, well, that's kind of interesting. The curved staircase. Oh, I guess that's the addition right there. Living room. Okay, so here's our fireplace, but again, it's very modernist. Santa would not be able to comfortably navigate through this.
Yeah, that'd be tough.
Yeah, that would be a real challenge.
It's possible, but tough.
Yeah, not impossible, but yeah, not ideal either. Very nice pool. Again, the views, I have no doubt, are insanely good. I have no doubt about that. But is this a house that Santa would enjoy visiting? Again, narrow staircases, modern fireplace, everything is very modern, minimalist. It's doable.
I feel like, in a way, this house is almost insulting. Because if you look at the bottom right, you have that like large cement entrance.
Yeah.
That looks like a tunnel where he could like swoop in with his reindeer and sleigh and just land. But then if you go ahead a couple images to the bedroom, next one, you can see that it's completely walled off with glass.
Yeah.
Which means he could land there quite easily, but then he can't get inside.
Exactly, yeah.
And it's like inviting for no reason. It's almost like asking him to crash inside, like a bird crashes against a window.
Yeah, and also if he lands right here, he's gonna reveal himself. I mean, there's no way that you're gonna make that, because there's no way that it's gonna be a graceful landing right there. There's gonna be noise that's made.
If you're gonna have a landing pad, you gotta make it usable.
Definitely, yeah. So not only is it not practical, but then Santa's revealed himself and the jig is up. So yeah, I would say very cool house. I would definitely love to visit this house, but is it a house for Santa? I can't say it is really. Maybe like a techno punk, like futuristic Santa might appreciate this, but Santa as we know him, I feel like this is, again, at best a 5 out of 10, because at least it does have a fireplace, but it's average at best. I was
gonna go as low as 2, honestly.
Wow. Okay. So yeah. So how about
just because of that like inviting ramp that's just a trap.
So yeah, how about we call it 3? We'll call it 3 on the same scale. That. Okay. So one more. Fayetteville, Arkansas. Now I know where Fayetteville, Arkansas is, but let's just show the people here. It is in the northwestern corner of Arkansas, so I think Fayetteville is like the 2nd or 3rd city of Arkansas. So it's relatively remote, but you're not far from like a main population center. Yeah, it's a glass house in the middle of a wooded area. It looks like. Let's see here. Also, kind of a very modern aesthetic, with the nice stairs.
Interesting.
So far.
Jukebox. That's cool.
Yeah, the jukebox is cool. good for playing what's it called? Jingle Bell Rock.
Yeah.
That's a known Santa favorite right there. Wait, what is this? Is this like a bridge leading up to them? Wow.
Yeah.
Well, that's kind of weird. But other than that, this house is shockingly normal.
I will say, I do think go back. Yeah, if you look back one. If you look at the bottom right corner, there is a hearth. I think there could be a fireplace there.
Possibly.
We don't know.
Yeah, there's a lot of questions here.
Yeah.
I will say this is the first house where it's like $1,300,000. I mean, it looks nice, but it's 4 beds, 3 baths in Fayetteville, Arkansas. I don't feel like it's 1.3. I mean, I don't know. What do you think?
For Arkansas, no. I would. Who's going to be buying a mansion in Arkansas?
Yeah, because I mean, again, it's just 4 beds, 3 baths, only 3,100 square feet, practically no land, 0.6 acres. I don't know. I don't feel like I'm dropping 1.3 on that.
Yeah. And so the biggest issue with this house for me is that it's surrounded by trees and the exterior is all mirrors, rendering the entire house basically invisible.
Yes, that's a good point.
So that leaves 2 scenarios. Either Santa flies over, completely misses the house, and there's a poor family that doesn't get any presents.
Yeah.
Or he doesn't see the house and crashes into it, killing all of his reindeer and all the elves and himself.
Yeah, so
and that's also bad.
Exactly. Both are disastrous scenarios.
Dangerous.
Yes. Yeah, I would say this is the first house that I would actually say gets a DNF. Did not finish, because Santa is either going to miss the house or will befall some disaster trying to get to it.
Won't finish his journey.
So yeah, I thought this is a DNF.
Active hazard.
Exactly. Yeah, steer clear is what I would say. So, all right. Well, then in that case, we have our 2 favorites: the Paulding, New York, Elizabethan Manor, and the Knoll House in Pasadena. These are our
both have good Christmas vibes.
Very much so, and Christmas vibes in different directions too.
Yes.
Because this one is very traditionalist, very much old world, England, Europe, old school type thing. With again all that kind of old world rustic charm, the
tons
dark
of like
oak
authentic
paneling.
Rustic candles.
Yeah, huge fireplace, the stables for the reindeer.
Lots of wreaths on every window, lots of Christmas greenery. You get like long, large red ribbons tying around the banister.
Major Harry Potter vibes.
Yeah. Whereas the other house.
Whereas this is more of the Americanized Christmas.
They would definitely have tons of lawn ornaments and giant inflatable snowmen in the front yard.
Yeah, this is the old world European Christmas. This is the American Christmas. Again, this is the Home Alone house, but bigger.
Yeah.
But also same thing with the big fireplace, and then just all the amenities. The theater for watching Christmas movies, the art gallery. I mean, who knows? I mean, you could probably fit some sort of Christmas related, attraction in there. The gift wrapping station.
Insane.
I mean, yeah. So I think these are our MVPs for Zillow Gone Santa. Well, how should we send the good folks out this fine holiday?
I don't know. I mean, it's that time. We've run out of time for this episode, unfortunately. But I just want to say, if you celebrate Christmas, Merry Christmas. If you don't celebrate Christmas, I hope you have a happy Hanukkah, a Merry Kwanzaa, just happy holidays, whatever you celebrate.
Absolutely.
All holidays are welcome. Hope you have a wonderful New Year. I believe we're going to try to do one more episode before the New Year.
I'd like that.
So you will most likely hear from us again. But until then, enjoy.
Absolutely. I just want to echo that. Merry Christmas, happy holidays to all of you out there. We love you. Thank you for sticking with us throughout this year, and we can't wait to make more stuff for you. So, with that, happy holidays, and we will speak to you in the
Do I
next
do it?
one.
We're doing it.
Goodbye, everybody.
Well.